Welcome back, everyone. It's the lawyer you know, and today we're going to break down all of the potential criminal implications from the Michigan school shooting and talk about who could be liable in addition to the shooter himself. So these are always tragic cases that we end up breaking down here because we get a lot of questions as to how can we prevent this in the future and how does the criminal justice system deter this from happening and put in protections so that things like this don't happen in our schools, in our countries, right? So we're going to talk a lot about that today. If you're interested in this topic, give us a like on the video and make sure you subscribe to our page to be in the conversation as to which videos we break down and which cases we break down in the future. So we're not going to talk a lot about gun control or gun regulation specifically in this video, but we are going to talk about the criminal implications when something like this happens. The 15-year-old kid who went to the school with the gun and shot at least 4 students. Many others were injured, but 4 have been confirmed dead at this time. He is being charged as an adult. And we've done other videos, which we'll link in the comments, about how you can get charged as an adult even when you're under 18. And it usually centers around specific crimes that you commit or adult activity like firing a gun or the heinous nature of crimes. So he is being charged as an adult with over 24 charges, including murder, attempted murder, assault, terrorism even. And we'll break down some of those criminal statutes and what is necessary to prove those criminal counts in the future if this case continues to progress, as opposed to him just pleading to most of them, which is what I would expect happens at some point in this case, unless we have an insanity plea or something like that, an insanity defense or something like that, which could then create other legal implications in the case. But what's more interesting to me and what a lot of people around the nation are asking is, will his parents have criminal liability? And that fire has been ignited by the investigating officers and prosecutor's office because they're calling the parents' actions into question. They're saying this gun was not locked, was not kept away from this troubled teen, and they knew that he was having these troubles. They were called into the office because of his behavior many times, and I think even hours before the shooting took place. So he took the gun from their house where it was not secured. Okay, that's a major problem. And what does that bring to the table? Well, it brings criminal negligence, potentially criminally negligent homicide even, because a death occurred from their criminal negligence if the prosecutor wants to move forward with something like that. But to knock down a heavier-handed criminal action against the parents, the prosecutor and law enforcement are going to have to find and prove some kind of knowledge on the part of the parents. They knew he was dangerous. They knew he tried to take the gun at prior times and they should have had it locked up. They knew based on what he was researching or saying or his behavior or what the principal was telling him or teachers were telling him in school that he was dangerous, and they should have taken extra precaution knowing they had a gun in their house. And I believe the prosecutor was quoted saying, yeah, you have the right to own a firearm, but with that right comes responsibilities. And if you have a troubled teen in the house that's able to get the gun, this isn't a 5-year-old, it's a 15-year-old, young man. And if he has the ability to get this gun, knows where it is, knows that it's not locked up, and you know he could be dangerous and you did nothing to stop it, well, now you could become an accomplice, or that criminal negligence can rise to another level. And they've been calling it gross negligence to this point. And gross negligence is a level higher than just normal negligence. I accidentally did something. I was speeding, didn't see the car in front of me, didn't brake, ended up rear-ending them. That's normal negligence. But I was drinking all night, got behind the wheel of the car, decided to speed, ran a red light, T-boned somebody. That's gross negligence because you made extra decisions to do things that any reasonable person would have known is going to put the safety of others in danger. And that's what we're talking about here. Did these parents take action or inaction that they knew and was reasonable for them to know that it was going to be dangerous in the future? And more facts are coming out, and we're going to have to determine what the parents knew in order to find their level of criminal culpability. But as we sit here and you just see the surface level of these facts, 15-year-old took his parents' gun that was not secured. They knew he was having problems at school. They didn't do anything to secure the gun. He takes the gun and murders 4 people. Just based off those facts, do you think there should be some criminal charges that come down the pipe for these parents? And I'm asking you, as potential jurors out there, you could sit on a case like this. Forget the murder and the terrorism that the actual shooter is charged with. That's a separate trial. but just the parents, do you find that their negligence rose to the level of criminal behavior? Now, they could obviously have some civil liability for the victims in this case, that they could sue the parents. It was their gun. They should have done more to prevent this hazard, and they didn't. So there is some potential civil liability there. I don't think anybody can really argue with. But the criminal liability, because there's no statute right on point that says if your son uses your gun, you're automatically also criminally liable. There are some criminal statutes in some states, and I think Michigan has one as well, that you can be held liable for the actions of your minor children. Usually it's if you have knowledge that this type of action could take place. Not something that's totally out of character, like your 12-year-old steals your car and goes and crashes into somebody. Sometimes you can't do anything to prevent that, right? The car's locked, the keys are where they go, and it happens. That's negligent, but not necessarily criminal negligence on the part of the parents. So I'm just wondering, as a first reaction, how you look at this case, because we talk about in our civil cases a lot. What was our first reaction when this person called and told us what happened? Because the first reaction, a lot of times in a lot of cases, is what ends up being the result in the case. Now, I'm not saying an initial reaction that's pitched to you in a twisted way by some media channel. I'm talking about just the facts, and I'm not trying to paint the facts in any way. I'm just saying what we know is this 15-year-old went and got his parents' gun, shot people at the school. We know the parents did not lock the gun away from the child's access. That's what we know. We know the parents were put on notice at the school that the child was having some negative behavior. We don't know exactly what those conversations were or what that negative behavior was, but we know that the parents were called into the office. So just with those facts, initial reactions, let me know what you think. And you can just put in there, to make it easy, in the comments, criminal liability versus civil. And if it's just civil, put civil. If you think there is some criminal and civil, just put criminal, to make it easy in the comments, so we can get kind of an idea of how people are looking at these situations and whether or not they think that there's criminal liability for more than just the shooter in this case. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content and enjoy these discussions, as hard as they may be. I think as a country and as a people, as a world, it's nice to discuss and just see where we all sit and find and think about these things. I know a lot of people watch these videos from around the world in countries that have much stricter gun laws, so I'm sure I know how they're going to feel about this. But I want to hear from everybody, no matter what country you're in, what political party you have, what your feelings are on the Second Amendment. I just want to know what you think about this case specifically and whether or not you think there should be any criminal implications for the parents. So that's all we've got for this one, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our page and like our videos. If you want some interaction, get in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to know any more information about our firm or this page, you can find out in the description or visit tragoslaw.com. We post multiple times throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell so you can get the notification and not miss out on the next episode.